Once upon a time, there was an old wise man who lived in a quiet village. People came from far and wide to ask him for advice because he had a special gift. He could see through confusion and help people find clarity. One day, two young men visited him together. They didn't know each other, but by chance, they arrived at the same time. Both were polite. Each insisted the other should go first. After talking a bit, they realized they actually had the same problem. They were both stuck in jobs where they felt small, unappreciated, invisible. Every day, their bosses talked down to them, gave them too much work and no credit. They were exhausted, disrespected, and unsure what to do. Should we quit? One of them asked. Or do we stay and hope it gets better? The sage didn't answer right away. He closed his eyes and sat in silence. The two young men waited. Minutes passed, then more. Finally, the sage opened his eyes and softly said just 5 words. Only a bowl of rice. That was it. He smiled and sent them on their way. The two young men were confused. But as they walked back to the city, they began to talk. What do you think he meant? One asked. The other nodded slowly. I think he meant the job is just a way to eat. That's all. A bowl of rice. Just survival. Yeah, said the first one. It's not about passion or purpose. It's just a paycheck. Nothing more. They both agreed. But what they did next was completely different. One of them stayed in his job, but he stopped taking things personally. He didn't let his boss's moods control his emotions anymore. He saw the work for what it was, just a means to live. And oddly enough, that changed everything. He worked with more peace, more strength, and people noticed. Year after year, he rose up. He became a leader, then a manager, then a director. He built a good life, a strong one. But the other young man, he went home that same day and quit. He packed his bags and left the city. He moved to the countryside and started over, as a farmer. At first, it was hard, but he used everything he had learned in the city to grow something new. Literally, he started planting crops, better seeds, better soil, better methods. And over time, his little farm became something special. His fruits and vegetables were known all over the region. He made good money, but more importantly, he found peace. Years later, by pure chance, the two men met again. They laughed, they hugged, they shared stories about their journeys. And that's when they realized they had both built beautiful lives, but had taken opposite paths from the same advice. One had stayed, one had left, and yet both were happy. They looked at each other, puzzled. Why did you quit? The manager asked. Because, the farmer said, the sage made it clear. A job is just a bowl of rice. Why stay in a place that steals your joy just to eat? The manager smiled. That's funny. I heard the same thing, but to me it meant, why get so upset over something so small? If it's just a bowl of rice, then there's no need to carry all that anger. So I stayed, but I stopped suffering. They stared at each other. Two totally different choices, from the same 5 words. They looked at each other and said, let's go ask him again. So they returned to the sage. They told him what had happened, their different paths, their different interpretations. And they asked once again, Master, what did you really mean? The sage closed his eyes again. He was silent. Then he opened them and spoke 5 new words, only a difference of thought. He smiled gently. In life, he said, it's not always about the path you choose, but how you think as you walk it. One of you left to find peace. The other stayed and created it. You both saw the truth and chose your way. There's no single answer, only the one that brings you peace. Because in the end, it's all just a bowl of rice. Moral: your peace doesn't come from your job, your boss, or your paycheck. It comes from how you think about it. Whether you stay or go, choose peace.